Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Listen with Vobes with me, Richard Vobes. Got my hat on, got my scarf on, got a jacket on, and we're going to be doing chapter 4 of The Charm of the Road. So it's very nice if you're watching live or joining us as we do it live or watching the rerun. Now today, slightly differently, in the car travelling around the countryside with me is the lovely Julia.
Hello.
And there she is. Hello, Julia. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Fantastic. And I should say that I'm just a passenger today. Julia is actually in control of all the gadgets and all the other stuff. So are you nervous about that? Yeah, you're pressing the buttons.
I'm not nervous at all.
So Julia is going to be also map reader. So she will be able to go to the maps. You need to go on the first.
Oh yes, but it goes over there.
That's it. So we're starting at Hawkhurst. That's where we left the character, James John Hissey. And we've got both maps. If you have a look at the second tab on the yeah, no, it's very confusing. Second tab up. And there we go. We've got the OS map from 1913, which is just a couple of years out from the journey. So we can really get a good idea of how it all must have looked 100 and whatever it is years ago. 110, is it? 110 years ago? Something like that. So, and of course, we've got the chat, which is here. Julia can see that better than I can on the screen.
I can't type in that today.
No, you can type from here.
Oh yes.
By putting the cursor.
As you.
As me, yes. So you can. Oh, I haven't even sent that. I don't think. Oh, have I? Oh, yes, I have.
That is
there we
an
go.
existing comment.
Yeah. Grand. So I think, fingers crossed. I think we'll get going, and we'll see if anybody pops along. And if not, it doesn't matter. You can watch it on the last one. When I looked at chapter 3, 68 people had tuned in. So that's not so bad for a reading channel, is it? That nobody knows when it's going live. So, are you all set over there, lovely Julia?
Indeed.
Fantastic. Chapter 4. Leaving our hotel, we took the road that went by it. There was no other road to take unless we retraced our way of yesterday, which we were not minded to. It proved to be a pleasant road, and for the moment, sufficed us. Where it might lead was a matter that we didn't trouble about. However, we had not gone far till we observed a milestone with Rye 16 miles thereon. It was a great treat to come upon a respectable milestone again, the lettering on it plainly discernible, for milestones are growing scarce in the land. In fact, this was the first one that we'd noticed on our journey. For one, I regret the passing of the milestone, that silent companion, the lonely wayfarer. The resurrection of the road being a fact that not a vain... Sorry, I'll read that again. The resurrection of the road being a fact and not a vain imagining. The old useful milestones may possibly be resurrected again. Not only are they useful to tell the distance by, but... turning the page, by the measure they serve the purpose of a signpost. Now, it's quite interesting, isn't it? I think that he talks about the resurrection of the road, because we'd had the coaching era, and at that point, I suppose trains had come in, and he doesn't like trains at all. And, of course, coaches and horses were sort of dying out a bit because of the railroad, and then motor cars were just really coming on stream, as it were. And so I guess that's why he's talking about the resurrection. Now let's have a quick look at our map, Julia, and see. He says that there was only one road out, and that's away to Rye, which I'm assuming must be down to the right and down. So it's on one of those roads that he might well be heading. And I'm going to hedge my bet that it's the one on the right that goes past, what's that, Thorpe, is it? Something like that. So we're going to do a little bit of testing and, guessing rather. So let's see where we go. So, writing of milestones reminds me that I observed a pretty conceit on a near Uckfield in Sussex. I don't know what he means by that. The milestone was of iron, but this is a detail. Cast on it was the representation of a ribbon tied in a bow from which hung 3 bells, with the miles given in figures below. A poetic way of showing the distance to Bow Bells in London. Oh, how interesting is that? This reminds me that the Big Bell of Bow was cast in Sussex by that famous bell founder Richard Phelps, who also cast the tenors of Westminster Abbey and Winchester Cathedral. One thing suggests another, and that is, according to Stowe, Bow Church was so called because it was the first London church built upon bows or arches. Can that possibly be true? I see you hovering to press your camera. Do press the camera when you're answering, then we can see your lovely face.
I have no idea.
There you go. So who knows? Let's press on. Well, he says, we may as well go to Rye as anywhere else, I remarked. Rye is a quaint old town, well worth seeing, from all I have heard and read about. To ride, let's go. Or rather, to Rye, not ride. When I came to think of the matter over, it reproached me that I'd never been to the ancient and historic Cinque Port. By happy chance that day, I would remove that reproach from my mind. Not to know Rye is to confess oneself unacquainted with perhaps the most charming old-world town in all fair England. Now that the road has declared its destination to that destination, we drove contentedly along. We could not have planned a better stage, or one more to our satisfaction. And though our wanderings were without method, I doubt if any method would have served us well. Deliberate travel is not so fruitful of pleasant surprises, and these are the main joys of a journey taken in search of holiday relaxation. We passed through 1 or 2 little villages. Oh, now let's see if we're going to mention some, because that would be good. Agreeable enough, though not especially attractive. Then we dipped down to the Toy Rother River. So let's have a look on our map. Maybe we can see it on Google Maps a bit better to see where the rivers are, because it's in colour, and see where he's gone. So he was in Hawkhurst and he's sort of diving down. Can you... So I think to the top right there, you see that one there? And then he's going down along there, is he? And dropping down. Further. And can we see... Oh, wait a minute. There's some blue for the rivers. Is that a river? What's that river down on the bottom there?
Bay Pond.
Oh.
Can't see a river name on there at all.
That's a swine. Maybe pull out and see if we can find where Rye is. Rye is down the bottom somewhere. On the coast.
There.
So Hastings, yeah. So that he must be going on that road. There we go. Is that the one I was suggesting?
Yes.
Yeah, there we are. That's not so bad then, is it? Grand. Well, let's see. I'll carry on reading, and you can see if we can locate anything on the route. I should deem it a wide stream, but our map marked it as a river. After which we crossed a single-line railway. It's right. So there's got to be a railway down there, Julia. You see if you can find it. It passes by Bodiam Castle. Ah, there's a hint. Now, of course, you can search for Bodiam Castle in there somewhere. Oh, I think you have to press that arrow here, don't you?
Oh, I also have to press this.
Yes. If you press that little arrow, you get the thing up there, and then at the top you can put in Bodiam Castle, and so we can see what he says. I'll carry on reading.
Yes.
And
what did I press?
Yes, what have you pressed?
Right, okay.
There you go, well done. So he says it passes by Bodiam Castle, where one day I spent 2 good honest hours sketching the ruins, yet I have never heard or saw a train go by. Quite a harmless little line, considered as a scenic spoiler or a noise disturber of quiet countryside. After this, we came to Northiam, a large and pleasant village. So we've got to find Northiam now. And then we'll have a look at that. A large and pleasant village with some rare old cottages around where good old-fashioned inglenooks are to be found with ample hearths for the burning of wood, if you are fortunate enough to obtain a glance at their picturesque interiors. How mean they make the cramped modern builder's cottage seem. Absolutely. We'd all love to have, would we not, an inglenook on our fireplace. I know I would. Northiam is not without its historic episode. For Queen Elizabeth, during one of her many progresses, and on this occasion it was to Rye that she was journeying, rested and dined there beneath a great oak that stood on the village green. The remains of this ancient tree are still to be seen and are pointed out with pride by the village folk. It is recorded at the time the grass was damp, and that Queen Bess therefore took off her wet shoes and put on dry ones. The discarded shoes of satin with high heels are still preserved in the neighbouring house, we are told. Well, that is staggering. So have we found Northiam, Julia?
No, I found Bodgham Castle, though.
Oh, yeah. That's a good old Bodiam, or Bodgham, as they say locally. So where's Northiam? You could put it in to the question, into the search thing that you've discovered how to do.
Okay.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah, just along from Bodgham.
Yeah. And now, if you put the satellite on and zoom in on a bit of Northiam, I wonder if he'll go to the church. And we'll have a look and see if we can find the church. And I'm wondering if there's anybody watching at all. But we'll have a look on tab 3 in a minute when you've had a look for the church.
Cemetery down here.
And you can see how built up that is. And then I guess if we go to the old Ordnance Survey map and go along from Bodiam. Did you find Bodiam on that one?
No, I didn't. So, Bodiam Wood here.
Oh, where's the old castle? That's the thing.
Could type it in.
Yeah, you can't type it in so easily on that one. It has got it. Yeah, you could try Northiam or Bodiam. And we'll see if we can find it.
Yeah. Brainache.
Brainache?
No, I don't actually have Brainache.
All right, there we are, Northiam. And then if you get rid of that box, and then we can see how much built up that is or not. Anyway, and if you cut back to the camera and then have a look on tab 3, we can see if anybody's actually watching the nonsense that we're doing. No views. And are we actually live?
Looks like it.
Oh, right, okay. So notifications might not be going out, but never mind. I mean, at least it's recording. So that's the key thing. Right, okay. So at Northiam, we somehow got off the direct road to Rye and soon found ourselves on a narrow and somewhat hilly byway. A fact we did not regret, as it took us into the heart of a pretty and little travelled district and gave us a sight of some delightfully picturesque old half-timber houses. One of these, the Well House, is a thatched roof and clipped yew trees in front, with a charming picture, a carefully preserved specimen of a prosperous yeoman's dwelling of about the 16th century. And we found others even more picturesque and quite old. And he's actually got a picture here of a half-timbered farmhouse. I don't know whether that's the Weld house. You won't be able to see it terribly well because I can't zoom in.
Shall I hold it over that one?
Yeah, there we are. That's the best you'll see, because if I bring it closer, it's all out of focus.
Yeah.
because the focus is set over here, but never mind. Mark Burgess says good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Mark Burgess. Lovely to have you there. We're heading down.
Good afternoon, but Mark.
We're heading down to Rye with the lovely Julia in tow, doing the map reading. So he's gone off on this very strange route. Have you managed to find the route away from Northiam?
No,
I'm not quite sure where he's going though, but it's gone past something called the Well House. One of these ancient homes I gave an illustration that I trust may serve to reveal something of the pleasantness in spite of the absence of the wealth of tints which time has endowed their walls and roofs. Only a watercolour drawing could hope to do them justice. These old houses, within as well as without, are homes. When you look at them, that's the one thing above all else that you feel. Domesticity is their keynote. Each house has its own individuality. It owes its picturesque existence to no skilled architect. It was built by local craftsmen of local material, making the best material nearest to hand, and it was built to live in. No one house resembles another. Each have their own distinctive character. And how delightful a thing character is, whether in man or in house. The ancient yeoman built his home to suit his requirements. In it, he has, to a certain extent, expressed himself, so that we may roughly guess what manner of man he was, allowing for the times in which he lived. As Thoreau pertinently puts it, there is some of the same fitness in a man building his own house that there is in a bird building his own nest. Then, after many ups and downs and along crooked ways, not over good, yet not, as Horace Walpole called the byroads of Sussex, bad beyond badness, we reached the hamlet of Breed. Now there's a search for the lovely Julia to find. Mark says, I see he's heading my way. Yes, I think he is. Now, I made a video at Breed, B-R-E-D-E, I beg your pardon. I made a video about the giants of Breed. So it's going to be south, and you can type it in and find it, Julia. B-R-E-D-E. And I made that, and we drove through Breed. Do you remember when we went to that village and I did the thing, and we had salmon? I was ill, and I said to you, I made a video through that. We actually drove that way, and we passed the giants of Breed. Julia's found it. Let's have a look on the map where that is. There we go, Breed. And there's a railway there. What railway is that?
Ashford and Hastings branch.
I don't know if that's still there.
Winchelsea Station.
Winchelsea Station. Marvellous. No doubt Mark will know, being a train enthusiast. Anyway, where did we get to? We reached the hamlet of Breed, close to which stands a very charming little manor house of Breed Place, built in the 15th century and for long the abode of Oxenbridges, a notable Sussex family of the days. Now, if you open up a fourth tab and put into that, Breed Place, B-R-E-D-E Place, we'll see if we get a picture of the very thing. This is what I like, and we'll have a look at images and see if there's a picture. Oh, look at that. Switch to the tab on the thing. There we go. Look at that old place. Breed Spooky Manor. Is that what it says?
Yeah. Spooky mysteries surround Breed Place.
Oh. The house is of stone and has a Tudor doorway and windows. The roof, show more of the pictures as I read this, and can you enlarge them on different tabs and things like that, so people get to see a bit more of it. The house is of stone and has a Tudor doorways and windows. Its roof is much broken in outline, and its chimneys are many. Look at those chimneys in that one. The house is an architectural gem. Coventry Patmore, when alive, sent me a description he'd written of it. Breed Place, said he, is the finest small house of its date, Henry the Seventh, I have ever seen. And a poet ought to be a good judge of what a building is. Then he adds, a well-known architect who saw it for the first time in my company spoke of it as a lyric in architecture. An amusing incident of one of his visits there let me relate in Patmore's own voice. The ceilings of the house are bracketed by the biggest beams of oak I've ever seen. Some cannot be less than 14 or 16 inches square. As I was once going through the house with some friends, I pointed to one of these beams having a great iron hook in it, and said in the presence, turning the page, bear with me, of a woman who was in charge of the place, look, that is where the old lord used to hang his vassals. 2 or 3 years afterwards I went again, and the custodian, having forgotten me, showed the beam to the party, repeating my own words as if authentic history. I am told that the place is never shown now without the relation to this tradition. So much for the reliability of guides. Certain old houses demand the story, and no guide to whom I have ever met has failed to supply me with the needful article. There are some lovely pictures. I haven't managed to see them because I was reading, so let's have a look at some of these. Just don't allow any of them. Yep. Julia's just dealing with the cookies and things. Look at that. Lovely. Loads of window. And it does look very Tudor, doesn't it? Mm. Tudor and chewed up. Yes, that's the Ashford and Eastbourne railway line that we were referring to afterwards. Look at that. That's a lovely picture. Mm. What it would be to live in a house like that.
Who lives in a house like this?
Well, exactly. Who does these days? Only the rich and the famous. But you'd like to live in a place like that, wouldn't you?
I sure would.
Right, so let's carry on and see what else he's got to say in this. Yes, he's always had a story. Sometimes he or she has a story in every room. Often gruesome relations they are too. Revelations they are too. Probably totally untrue. Still, I must own a weakness to hearing them if the house has any sense of mystery about it. Certain dimly lighted, dark oak-panelled chambers suggest a foul murder, or at least a conspiracy. Others demand a ghost. Others call aloud for the presence of a Queen Elizabeth or a Charles I or Cromwell visiting. You cannot escape the atmosphere of the place, the feeling that some startling event has taken place within them, whereupon you fall an easy prey to the mendacious guide. Now, it did say that there was a mystery to the... is that the inside of it?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
I think that might be part of the chapel. Oh, yeah, the haunted chapel at Breed Place.
Ooh. I wonder if he mentions anything about that. He does. I can see here something about Breed Church, so let's have a look. Breed Place has its traditions apart from the one provided by Patmore. Sir Goddard Oxenbridge, who lived there and died there in 1531 and is buried in Breed Church, where his effigy in knight's armour rests on his stately tomb, is said to have been a veritable ogre who fed upon the steaks of children. Well, with all the revelations that have been coming out on my other channel, you never know whether that's true or not. Many attempts were made to slay him, but in vain. One day, 2 men discovered him helpless on the ground after a drinking bout, and forthwith cut him in half with a saw, the only instrument they had with them. During the process, the wicked knight naturally groaned dreadfully, as you would, being cut in half. The spot where this tragedy happened was by a bridge in a lane that goes today by the name of Groaning Bridge. This bridge is pointed out by the worthy Breed folk in truth of the tradition. But this Sir Goddard Oxenbridge does not appear to have been the only Sussex knight who fed on children, for Sir Thomas Lunsford of East Hoathly was reported to have a similar cannibal taste, according to a mock litany of the period. From Fielding and from Vassor, both ill-affected men, from Lunsford eke deliver us, who eateth children. Very grim. And there's a picture there of... Oh, you just went past it. There's a picture there of the... I don't know where it's gone now. You had a picture of the breed giants. Can you go back where you were? One. Oh, it's gone now. I'm looking, but we can't see. Can you put it on the screen?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
There was just a picture of the Victorian housing of the breed giants place, which I filmed. There it is. You've just got the cursor was just on it. There, that's it. And in there are these water pumps. And in the valley, there, look at that. It's a beautiful thing. So there you go. That is a utilitarian building for water pumps. And inside, I've made a video, inside are these tremendous steam engine pumps, beautiful things, that used to pump the water to Hastings from the Brede Valley down from the aquifer. And the very nice chap, he's now dead, unfortunately, he showed me around, and the breed giants are just brilliant. So if you put in Vobes, breed giants, into YouTube, you will find it. Holly & Co. has joined us. Hello, Holly & Co.
Hello, Holly & Co. And hello, Sean.
Yes, so we've got Sean and Holly & Co. And today, both Julia and I are chugging along in the James John Hissey vehicle. And we've, as you can see, we've both got our hats and scarves on. And Julia's doing the navigating as we chortle on. She's also operating all the levers and buttons and steering mechanism and the brake. So I'm just the passenger, just having a read en route. So anyway, we've so that was all very exciting. Soon after leaving Brede, we passed by. Now I don't know how you pronounce this. Udimore or Udimore.
Udimore?
Have a look at that. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I saw it on the map. Udimore. I don't know.
Udimore.
Well, if Bodjum is spelled, it's pronounced Bodjum. If Bodium is spelled Bodjum, then Udimore?
Udimore?
I don't know. Correct me if we're wrong.
Udimore. That's what I want to know.
Udimore this then.
So let's see if we can find that on the map, and I will keep reading. Soon after leaving Brede, we passed by Udimore, a little hamlet, formerly, it is said, washed by the sea. Now the sea is about 2 miles away across the dreary marshes, for on this portion of the coast the sea has been receding ever since the days of Elizabeth. Horsfield asserts that the name of the place is derived from eau de mer, as in E-A-D, I guess French. Tradition that unreliable jade has a different and more picturesque version of the origin, according to which, when the inhabitants were about to build the first church there, they selected a site by the side of the mere, but the stones placed on the spot during the day in readiness for the work the next morning were found to have been mysteriously moved to the other side of the water. Now, is there, lovely Julia, a mere at Udimore? And she is going to put the picture on the screen so we can see on the satellite.
Brede, so Udimore should be up here somewhere.
She's just searching for
I found it on this one. There, it says Brede.
So it's just above. It's just above the railway line, according to that.
So,
where is the railway?
Brede. Where's the railway here? I cannot see it.
I know. I always have this same problem trying to find things. Sometimes I go out of the satellite back into the road one, and then that sometimes helps.
Where's the railway gone?
Has the railway gone? Mark said it was the Ashford to Eastbourne line, but where's the blooming thing gone?
I don't know.
Otherwise, do a search on the name, I suppose, Udimore. And Udimore is spelt U-D-I-M-O-R. And of course, you can do this along with us and then tell us where we've got it wrong.
Huh.
So there we are. Brilliant. I'll carry on reading anyway as you're showing the pictures. So yes, tradition that unreliable jade says that there's a more picturesque, according to which the inhabitants, I read all that, about the first church. They selected side by side that the stones were moved the next morning. As this went on for some time, the parishioners determined to sit up and watch who it was that did this strange thing. Then, in the age of marvels, the parishioners beheld a company of angels who took the stones and conveyed them carefully across the water, exclaiming, "Over the mere." So the watchers realized that they had selected the wrong site for their church, and forthwith erected it on the ground where the angels had laid the stones. Thus, "Over the mere" became in time corrupted to Udimore, a wild legend, but not too wild for the age. A legend suggests to me a Scandinavian origin. He said that in yesterday's programme, or the previous episode, in which something he said, "Oh, that's definitely Scandinavian." I think he's got Scandinavian on the brain. Is one in which, so anyway, he says, a legend that suggests to me a Scandinavian origin. It is one with variations frequently to be met in the eastern part of England, although we are actually in the southern, but southeast, I suppose. Only it is sometimes the devil who moves the stones to stop, if possible, the building of churches. So that's quite interesting. So is this the church you're now looking at?
Well, it's St Mary's Church. St Mary's Church, so which is
at Udimore.
The first one you get to in Udimore from the directions.
Can you show it on the screen?
Yes, if I remember which button to press.
There we go. Yes, it's all a button pushing episode, but it looks a lovely church.
Beautiful.
And that is in Udimore, is it? Is it the other side of a mere, though, on a map? Is there any water?
I couldn't find any mere or moor.
Or pond or anything? Big pond next to the
There's a swimming pool over there.
It's not quite the same, is it?
In fact, it's not a swimming pool at all. It's a tennis court or something.
Oh, right, fair enough.
No, I've not
So
found.
the mere is gone.
Oh, there's a bit of water.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that whole wooded area was the mere.
Maybe.
And then the church is what, to the right of that, St Mary's. I reckon that's what it was.
Yeah.
And on old maps, does it have the mere?
It's Udimore, the mere. The patch of water was down here. There's a spring down here.
Oh, right, there's the spring. Where's the church?
The church would be... Hang on a tick. Right, just below the road. So, the church should be... I have no idea. How do you do this?
So...
It's not helping.
Yeah, you Breed, Udimore. Go down, go make the map. If I say up or down, you'll do the opposite. Drag the map down so we go up. Is there no more village or anything like that?
No.
Oh, well, not to worry.
Collingwood.
I'll just carry on reading. At East Bergholt in Suffolk, don't search for that, His Satanic Majesty is credited with having pulled down all the upper part of the tower as fast as it was raised, and that is why it was never finished. I suggested to a native that it was possibly a want of pence that caused the church tower to be incomplete, but he would have none of it. "I tell you it was the devil who pulled it down," exclaimed he. Even in this enlightened 20th century, some country folk still hold the old tradition. They love them and will not be robbed of them, and I don't blame them. I've met, because after all, some of the history that we think of is complete and utter lies. They love them and will not be robbed of them. I've met more than one old body who has declared to me a firm belief in witches and her desire that they should be burnt as they were in the good old days, to prevent them from doing the mischief they do. Of all weeds, superstition is the hardest one to destroy, I know. Even education fails to kill it. Only the other day, a highly cultured lady, not wholly unknown to fame, confided to me that she believed that there was something in crystal gazing. And surely narrow is the line that divides a belief in witchcraft and the belief in the craft of crystal gazing. When I write the craft of crystal gazing, I write it advisedly. Well, for all we know, there is something in crystal gazing. These days we're discovering that all these sort of things are doing it. Is river tilling close, he says. Not quite sure. But anyway, we press on. Leaving Udimore, we soon reached Rye. Just giving you the clue there, Julia. A rare old town, as full of character as the wrinkled face of one of its ancient mariners. A town to dream in, and few such towns today there be. Its importance is but a memory, but its old world flavour remains. Now, I've been to Rye, and I filmed at the Mermaid Inn in Rye for one of my videos, The Smugglers of the Romney Marshes, which I made donkeys years ago, but was all good fun. And Julia has found it, and we can put it on the screen. Yeah, so there we go. Its importance is but a memory. Once a flourishing port. For many years, till the time of Charles II, it was the favourite port of departure for France. Now the sea has deserted it. In place of the waves that erst washed its walls, and even washed some of them away, a green waste of level marshes extends for leagues around. The salts, they're called, and their lank grasses and wild wind makes waves as it passes, waves on land as well as on sea. Of Rye, the much misapplied term romantic might justly be written. Gently has time dealt with it, for what he has done has been to beautify it, and the glamour of history broods all over. Rye is a spot to rejoice the heart of the sentimental traveller, to rejoice the heart of the artist too, for it is full of pictures. It fascinates because of its ancientness, and Rye counts time by centuries. Were Rye only somewhere abroad, how Englishmen would rush to see it, and what words they would lavish, and what praise. But Rye is a town to be seen, not described, for when you try to describe it, you feel the limit of words, for neither words nor skill of the artist can possibly convey to paper or canvas its meaning and its particular charm, or peculiar charm, as he has written here. Rye is one of the very few places of which I have heard much about. I have heard much and found all I have heard to fall flat before the reality. And I dare say that Julia will be able to show us in a fourth tab some of the street, or go into the street view in the heart of Rye and travel about, and so we can see what he's talking about. Right into the main town centre would be good, because then you get a good glimpse of some of these oldie worldy buildings. So there we get that. I have been content to give simply our impressions of old world Rye, for of such a spot it is the impression that profits, not the guidebook details that turns a beautiful poem into a dull prose. I don't know what he means there. Rye tempted us to stop and go no farther that day, but when we asked about rooms for the night at a hotel, we found they were all taken by American travellers, and there was not one spare for an Englishman. They discovered the charms of the place, and they were in no haste to depart. Yet Americans are not given to lingering. At this ancient port and at other spots along the coast thereabouts, the fishing nets are placed on stakes, which are called kettles. Hence, very likely arose the saying, a pretty kettle of fish. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? A pretty kettle of fish. That's another kettle of fish, isn't it? That's a phrase they like to use.
Yeah. A whole new kettle of fish.
A whole new kettle of fish. So yes, if they put the fish up the nets on that, on what they call kettles. So that's interesting. Hence, today the remark, a fine kettle of fish, may frequently be heard. So one travels and picks up odd bits of information. To use an expression much in vogue in the coaching days, we got away from Rye by the old London road, and a very pleasant one it was, fair of surface and not lacking in scenic qualities. This brought us unexpectedly back to Northiam. Some way beyond the village, we turned up a lane to avoid retracing our tracks of the morning. So he's going all over the blooming place, this chap. Very soon this lane revealed its rural charms. First we dropped down to a droning watermill, to climb up again into the country of woods, passing a well by the wayside, having the legend, the Earl's Well. The Earl's Well that ends well, if you know what I mean. A title that suggested some possible romance connected with the spot, but there was no one about to whom to ask of its story. Then we drove into Benenden. Benenden. Not Biddenden, but Benenden. Benenden. The sweetest and neatest village imaginable. But beyond its undoubted prettiness, there is nothing to delay the traveller. Oh. Prettiness pleases for the moment, but one desires a soul beyond the beauty. But we're going to have a quick look at Benenden and see where it is before we continue with our little journey. So where have we got to, lovely Julia? And I'm going to have a slurp of... Oh, my tea is stone cold.
Yeah. As is mine. Benenden, yeah.
So I'm guessing... Yes, I'm guessing in its day it was a one-track pony. And can you find it on the old maps?
Yeah.
There we are. This is how you use this. This is good fun. I hope you're doing this at home. You might, of course, be doing the cooking.
Benenden.
So Benenden. Yeah. There it is.
Bull Inn.
The Bull Inn. I wonder if that's still there.
There's a smithy over there.
Oh, yeah. Is the Bull Inn still there?
Sure I saw.
Or a pub. It may have changed its name, of course.
Yeah. Lincoln Barn.
And a church. So, you know, he might have missed a lot of stuff, and that's the thing. It'd be lovely to follow in the footsteps of. I wish I had the time and the money and the inclination and the patience and a vehicle to do it all. But it would be lovely to go to some of the places and have a little sort of look round and see what it's like, wouldn't it? But anyway, it seems like he decided not to do much travelling there. Now, for some miles, our road led us through what I can best describe as old-fashioned country, for therein we saw nothing but manor houses, farmsteads and cottages, all of the olden time, set amidst woods and green fields and hop gardens. The hop garden, for those that don't know, is a garden that jumps about a bit. 1 minute it's over here and the next minute... Oh, no, that's not...
I found the Bull Inn.
Oh, you found the Bull Inn?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Bull Inn.
So here's the green.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the Bull Inn. And then I'll switch over here.
There's the green.
Here's the
Wow,
green.
look at that green.
And here's the Bull Inn.
Oh, that looks a lovely pub, doesn't it?
Mm.
Is it still a pub?
Yep, the Bull Inn.
Wow. See, that's why it would be lovely to go there and have a quaff an ale in there and rest around and just have a much more leisurely life than the hard-working life that we have at the moment. That would be quite fun. Anyway, the country bore a mellow, ancient look as though it suffered little change from the Jacobean or early days. The infrequent traffic we met on the road was purely rural traffic, consisting of farmers carts and their wagons, and timber wains and carriers' carts. How lovely to meet some farmers with their farmers' wagons and their timber wains. I wonder what a timber wain looks like, and a carrier's cart these days. Setting Julia off on another investigation.
I was going to say, shall I look it up?
Go on, see a timber wain.
Timber Wain.
W-A-I-N-S. The carrier plays an important part in the economy of the remote countryside, for he supplies the needs of the isolated village. Indeed, it is hard to imagine how the village could get on without him. Before he starts forth in the morning, he collects his orders from the various inhabitants. Whatever is required, he purchases for them in the town to which he goes, some 6 or 7 or maybe even more miles away, charging only for the carriage of the goods and nothing for his time or trouble and responsibility in making those many and often trivial purchases. Yes, I've read about this, about the old carrier and the carrier's carts. But what about a timber wain? Julia is finding some... Oh, a lovely old picture coming up for you in a second. She's just sorting out the bloody cookies. Now that we're out of the EU, why do we still have cookies?
So this is the first image I found. You can see the oxen at the front there.
Oh, yeah. If you press that plus button, will it make it bigger? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it does, actually. Having said that.
Well, it won't scroll. That's the trouble.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Look at the countryside, though, beyond. Isn't that lovely?
Such a beautiful painting.
And that's a timber wain. So that timber wain is a carriage to carry the
timber
logs. Yeah, great big timber. Wow, that was a lovely picture.
Yeah.
Look at that. Does that go in close? Oh, you did. Yeah. That's the trouble. It's some of these pictures. Beautiful pictures. You know, they're the sort of pictures I would love to have on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those old pictures of that's how they used to do it. And it would be lovely to see that again. And you'd love it because of the horses, of course.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
It's no big surprise.
Yeah. And you'd be there ferrying those horses or riding them or whatever you do with them.
Grooming them, making sure they have everything they need. Yes, I would.
Oh, absolutely. So anyway, we're just talking about the carrier and what he does, whatever's required. So yes, he must needs have a good memory, not to make mistakes. And as to the money he spent, he is much trusted, and not in vain. He also calls at the lone farmhouses on his rounds and does the same service for them. How out-of-the-way villages and remote farmhouses would get along without the homely carrier, I do not know. Well, this is unfortunately where the motor car and the lorry put those old carriers out of business. Which, of course, you know, that's progress, I suppose, but that sort of very slow, lovely, gentle travelling. Oh, here's a beautiful picture. Look at this of a timber wain. You know, so you hear of people using horses to drag the logs, and I guess once they've got them out of the wood, they haul them. God knows how they get them, those great big timbers, onto the wain itself.
I'd imagine they'd use chocks underneath the wheels to stop them from moving, and then have chains around the logs and use the horses to
drag them
up
some ramp.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Indeed.
Yes, he bought me. So anyway, where are we? Once I took a farmhouse from a town. Oh, sorry, I took a farmhouse far from a town for my summer holiday, and what would I have done without the daily passing carrier? I know not either. He bought me the newspaper, books, tobacco, fishing tackle, colours and brushes, and whatever else I needed from town, as well as parcels from the station, faithfully executing all my commissions. So he was sort of part taxi and part collector and deliverer, wasn't he, really? Back in the day. During his frequent stops by the way, the carrier gathers and retails in turn all the local news and scandal, often, be it confessed, enlarged upon the facts to suit the taste of his clients, was divulged. His comings and goings are looked forward to with no little interest. He is not merely a deliverer of dull goods. As one villager remarked to me, we could get along somehow without the parson, but us might manage without the doctor, but where would us be without the carrier? Very true. A stretch of quiet country brought us to Biddenden. Actually, Biddenden. And we know where that is. A quaint and thoroughly old-world village, far from the railway, and one that never felt the quickening throb of modern life. Stilled, it seemed, in sleep when we were there. So still it was that we could almost hear ourselves breathe. Now, Julia and I have been to Biddenden some years ago now at the Tractor Fest, and we stayed there at Biddenden. It's in Kent. And it is a lovely village, marred these days by the motor car thundering through, with the church and some beautiful old properties up the high street, which we can show you in Street View. Absolutely beautiful. The first thing that greeted us in this out-of-the-world spot was a little old-fashioned gazebo set at the end of a long, untidy garden, then following some charming old houses. One had a big sundial on its gable end, another had a curiously sculptured stone head set above the arched doorway.
just looking for those.
And another had a high-pitched, lichen-stained and grass-grown roof with a great stack of chimneys in front, smothered in ivy, and below were some projecting bay windows of interesting design. Oh, wait a minute. He said Biddenden earlier.
Oh, we're not in Biddenden?
No. Wait. Here we go. The tiny village was full of character. Benenden was merely pretty. Biddenden was pretty and quaint besides. The names of two places sound so much alike when spoken that the stranger in search of one might easily get misdirected to the other, and we were told that the mistakes in this way often came about. Stopping in its quiet street to take some photographs, we noticed some curious-looking biscuits or cakes in the baker's shop. These had stamped on them figures of two women side by side, quaintly attired, and the following wording: Ellis and Mary Colkhurst, A Inn 34 1100 Y Biddenden. And there it is. These are the very said ladies.
Twins.
We entered the shop. I wonder if that is the very shop that he entered.
I'm not sure if that was the bakers at the time, because I think the bakers have moved around, if I
Right.
remember rightly, but it's up the other end now, I think.
So it may not have been that one, but you get the sort of measure of it from the pictures here. We entered the shop to purchase one and to gather their purport. Thus we discovered the tradition of the Biddenden maids. It appears, according to this tradition, that in the year 1100, a fairly long while ago, Eliza and Mary
Of course.
Chalkhurst.
The bakehouse.
Oh, the bakehouse.
That's where we stayed.
And oh yeah, that's right. We stayed. So there we are. He entered in that. Look at that beautiful old house, and it's now an Airbnb, or B&B, and it's absolutely. Jane UK has just arrived. Hello, Jane. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. And Julia and I have had the last romp on the bed in there, didn't we? When we stayed for the Tractor Fest.
Yeah.
One more night. We've had a couple of nights there, didn't we?
Yeah. We've had, because we went and stayed a few times, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. We went and stayed a couple of times there.
And it was very lovely.
It was very nice.
In the attic.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
Although, I can tell you, although he's going to tell us some information about that, there was the chap who owned it with his wife. He put his van, which may even be that one that's not yet on the screen, but similar. He had his van nicked from outside. No, when we the week before we stayed. So you stay in these beautiful old places. Can you put it back on the screen? You stay in these beautiful old places, and all sorts of things can happen. And of course, the farmers suffer badly from thieves in these remote places these days. But what a beautiful place it was, and we enjoyed it there. But anyway, to go back, according to this tradition, Eliza and Mary Colkhurst were born in the village, joined together at the shoulders and hips, and they were known as the Biddenden maids. They lived thus for 34 years, when one of them died, and the survivor, refusing to be separated from the body of her sister, died soon afterwards. Well, I'm not at all surprised. Exclaiming, "As we came together, so shall we also go together." The sisters left by will certain lands in the parish, out of the rents of which they directed that 1,000 cakes impressed with their likeness should be distributed to all parishioners and strangers on East Sunday after divine service in the afternoon. Which is done, and the cake we purchased was one of the number that remained after all the worshippers had been supplied. The letters and the figures on the cakes are intended to be read, we were informed, aged 34 years in 1100. The door being open, we went inside the church, thinking possibly to discover there some memorial of the twin maids, but failed miserably in our quest. The only thing we noted were too much damaged brasses and the altar tomb minus inscription, or an effigy, where I think the effigy once was. We've actually climbed up the tower at Biddenden, right to the top, with a friend of ours called Jen.
No, there was Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, who played the bagpipes
Yes.
up there, and I was filming bits, and it's on the website, on the YouTube channel somewhere. If you put Biddenden and Vobes, various things will come up, proving that we were there in our own way. Julia's just doing a quick search on the Tube of Views. Oh, you need to actually do it in. Oh, wait a minute. Biddenden breakfast, a look around the church. Just put that on the screen so people can see the whole.
Hello, I'm Richard Vobes,
There's
Old
us
Explorer.
outside the church,
This
look.
is the lovely Julia.
Hang on.
And this
You've just
is
silenced
part of our...
Yeah, because otherwise they'll be blasted with the sound. We
Sorry.
can't hear it, but they'll be blasted with it. But anyway, there is us, and there's the vicar, and there's inside the church, and we had a nice look round. Can't remember what else we did, but anyway.
I thought we might have an image of the outside. There we go. Oop.
And that's what it was, and we were right up in the top of the tower. Amazing. We've done a lot of things
We have, haven't we?
in the past.
Anyway.
Yeah. Marvellous. Right. How far are we from the end? Because we might stop here, because we've done quite a bit, haven't we? Because he's going to move on. I think we'll come. Shall we? I think we should, because the logs and everything downstairs we've got to get on.
Oh, yes.
We're going to pause there halfway through chapter 4. So I hope you've enjoyed this little escapade into the world of goodness knows what, 120 years ago.
Yeah. I hope I haven't made everybody too dizzy with my terrible map.
No, I think you've done splendidly. I've had it very easy for a change, just sitting here reading and directing. That way, turn left. No, over the swing bridge, for goodness sake.
Not that way, you plonker.
Exactly. So all good fun. Anyway, there we are. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll catch up afterwards, no worries. Well, we never know when we're going to do them. We just fit them in when we can. So we apologise if they come live randomly, but of course you can pick them up on the website as and when we do them. And Julia needs now to go to the third tab so she can press the end stream thing as and when.
Thank you for letting me do this.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
I did very
Oh,
much.
and it was good to be able to not have to hunt round myself, but there you are. Anyway, from Julia and I, Toodle Pip,
People do.
and we will see you next time. Bye for now.